Well, even though it's been in the Indian market for well over 4 years, the Fortuner still continues to be a big sales success for Toyota, and not without reason. Few other cars can match its off-roading abilities, its 7-seater capacity, along with Toyota's solid, no-nonsense and reliable reputation. Well, Toyota have just updated the car with an all-new 4x4 system in the top-end version of the car, so let's figure out how good it actually is. Well, let's talk about the practicality, and let's start with the boot of the car. As you can see, it's a pretty spacious boot, even considering that all 3 rows of seats are up, and there's no loading lip, which is a good thing. The sill is a little high because it is a tall car, and that can be a bit of an issue. Well, but in terms of loadage carrying capacity, not an issue at all, because it is of course a very wide opening, and the tall roof also means that you can generally load it up all the way up. If you want to improve it even further and you plan on picking up 5 people from the airport, you can flip the last row of seats down, and I'll just show that to you. You'll have to bear with me for a minute. Well, with the last row of seats folded up, as you can see, there's a lot of space, and it's a very wide opening, which means you can generally haul in that long and heavy luggage. So a good car for those camping trips. And if you are on a trip and don't really have anything to do, all you need to do is just sit around here and sip on some tea or coffee and watch the sunset. Well, getting inside the Fortuner's cabin can be a bit of an issue for some, because unlike a proper sedan where you slide into it, this one is really high set. Well, this car of course comes with an all black cabin, and they don't have any beige in the top end 4x4 automatic, and this car really does stand out from the regular version of the Fortuner in that sense. Well, in terms of storage capacity, this car really comes loaded. You get of course this big box over here where you can keep a lot of stuff. You get a couple of holders over here for your wallet as well as your cell phone. There's also bottle holders which can generally hold those big bottles in. The only small downside is that the glove box is really tiny. Well, the leather seats inside the cabin also have white stitching on the corners, and that really shows you how much attention to detail Toyota has paid to the interiors of this car. Well, if you've been inside an Innova, then this cabin feels very familiar, because the air vents are very similar, so are the gauges, but of course quality is better than the Innovas. Well, in terms of equipment, the Fortuner gets navigation, which is also voice enabled, automatic climate control, rear air conditioning, traction control, along with cruise control, and automatic headlamps, which also get a wash function. In terms of practicality, you also get cup holders for both the driver as well as the front passenger. Well, getting inside is a bit of an issue because these are of course high set seats, but once you're in them, they are a very comfortable place to be in. Of course, to enhance comfort, you get these AC vents at the back, which improve your comfort level. What also adds to the comfort at the back is the fact that the transmission tunnel isn't very tall, so whoever is sitting in the middle always has place to stretch his feet at. And also, you can move these seats forwards or backwards depending who's sitting at the back. Well, now let's get in the last row of seats and see how good they really are. Well, unlike a lot of other 7-seater SUVs where you have the last 2 seats only for kids, this car comes with seats which can generally sit passengers at the back. You can see headroom is just about adequate, and legroom is decent as well. It's not bad at all. What adds to the comfort at the back, of course, is the fact that you get these AC vents at the back, so really a good place in the last row of the Fortuner seats. Well, so here I am now driving the new Fortuner, and if you are driving this car in the city, you can immediately make out that it is a huge car. Well, the good thing about the Fortuner is, of course, these high set seats. You get a solid view of the road ahead, and you really do look down on other motorists. And of course, this high set seats gives you a very solid sense of purpose when you are sitting here. Well, in terms of driving, this is the same 3-liter engine, and that develops about 170 bhp of power and about 343 Nm of torque. We're driving the automatic right now, and I have to say this is a very nice and very relaxed automatic gearbox. Well, other Fortuner plus points like a very refined engine remain, and this 3-liter engine has been around for a long time, but Toyota really seemed to have worked hard on improving its refinement even in this version, and this car really does feel superb in terms of refinement. Even when you are revving it hard on that highway trip, it really does have a very relaxed tone about it. Well, the Fortuner suspension does a superb job of keeping those road imperfections out of the cabin, and this cabin feels very well insulated from most of the bad surfaces out there. Well, this is in the car you will be pushing hard into the hills, and even then Handling is a bit lumpy and the steering feels a bit woolly, especially around the dead center position. Well, this car of course comes with a 5-speed automatic gearbox, and it really does help in terms of the ease of driving this car. And with all that bulk around and with those huge proportions, it does make this Fortuner slightly easier to drive because you don't have to keep shifting gears all the time. You also get these low and high ratios to choose from. So if you are stuck in a mucky situation, all you need to do is of course throw it into the low range, and the Fortuner with this low range gearbox along with those big and chunky tires on the outside will get the job done. And on the plus side, Toyota claims a fuel efficiency figure of 12.55, and going by our experiences with other Toyota cars, that's a figure which seems pretty close to achievable. Well, it's easy to see why the Fortuner is such a big hit in India. It has that imposing SUV stance on the outside, a comfortable 7-seater on the inside, and comes with generous equipment as well. All that, along with the Toyota badge in the front, means it has a solid reputation for reliability and after sales, making it one of the best, if not the best, SUVs out there in the market.